Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, colleagues, comments, and connections, Facebook friends, LinkedIn connections. My classmate at IRMA, Institute of Rural Management, Anand, who made to McKinsey's partnership, he wrote a book. He used to share in our PRM6 group, WhatsApp group, about the books he likes, or books that are read by top people across the globe. Now I'm going to share about top 10 books in the International Affairs Christmas Reading List 2025. How originally do you think that about Serbia, Angola, and the Pacific Islands? For many, the answer will be not that often. Ahead of the holidays, book reviews editor Mariana Veria has curated a list of books that reflects international affairs commitments to covering the whole of international relations discipline and to sovereign and showcasing its diversity. The 10 books featured speak to different audiences, explore countries often viewed as peripheral and concepts typically considered eternal, central, and bring everyday forms of insecurity and mobilization to the fore. Browse the selection below to discover some of the his best books reviewed for the journal of in the past year. It will make a perfect Christmas gift for the higher enthusiast in your life, and yes, that it can mean you speaking science to power. One number one, edited by Raquel Epstein and Oliver Kaplan, published by Oxford University Press. It is truly feasible to publish scholarship which advances academic debates and informs policy issues. While this is one of international affairs, core goals, its implementation and delivery is always more challenging than an abstract declaration might imply. Speaking science to power provides advice for such as researchers interested in policy relevant research. It draws on the lived experiences and reflections of several social scientists who have grappled with questions of integrity, audience engagement, and scope for contributions. In light of funding priorities and limited access to policymaking processes, it is an immensely accessible and honest resource for researchers seeking practical advice on how to overcome these challenges and also reflect on their own role in the field. Read the full review. Serbia's Balancing Act. The other brilliantly illustrates the domestic foreign links in Serbian foreign policy making, which lead to constant pragmatic, even illogical decisions. For anyone who still sees Serbia in Russia's unconditional ally, Vikasnovic is here to persuade them otherwise. Vikasnovic ably dismantles prevailing narratives, examining how Serbia balances between Russia and the West as well as between in its foreign and domestic environments. This is where the book uncovers a lesser known dynamic whereby domestic stakeholders, including the government and political parties, balance the great powers to get support in their national contests for political power. The chapters are structured and around various international crises, evidencing Serbia's for therefore threefold a balancing act while showcasing the outside role that small states can play in their regional context. Read the full interview here. Insurgent Nations, written by Paula Christina Roque, published in London by her just. Paula Christina's Roque's book, second book is ambitious, insightful, and innovative. Insurgent Nations deals with the question of rebel governance, rebel legitimacy, elite agency, and path dependency. Rogue compares the trajectories of insurgencies in Angola and Sudan to understand their post-colonial liberation journeys. The other is sensitive to internal factors and the importance of deep structures, particularly the role of rebel leaders in navigating critical ruptures and ensuring continuity over the course of their respective protracted insurgencies. If history is written by the victors, Rogue's attention to the failures of these insurgent movements in the cover context of nation building makes the book particularly valuable between rights and rightfulness. Uh, in this reading, the list is something of world tour. This book is tour de force, or at least that is how Professor Lara J. Shepard opened the review of Between Rights and Rightfulness. Turning to the Pacific Islands, Nicole George offers a careful, rich, and stirring analysis of regulatory frameworks around the gender-based violence that breathes a new life into the study of everyday insecurity. George expertly unpacks the interplay between legislations, legacies of colonization, and local forms of power throughout the book. George investigate the consequences of persuasive rules such as maternity without losing sight of the particular context. A remarkable book, Nelson Rockefeller's Dilemma, written by Marsha E. Barrett, published in Ithaca, New York by Three Hills. How did a leading political party in the US transform from historical ally to form for many black Americans? Marsha Barry's new book addresses this question through the history of Nelson Rockefeller's career in the Republican Party, GOP, over to Grand Old Party. Over 2 decades, Rockefeller went from somewhat paternalistic supporter of black Americans to an increasingly silent participant in the party's retreat from its legacy as the party of Abraham Lincoln. This book makes a compelling case for to how Rockefeller's trajectory was symptomatic of wider trend within the GOP. Barrett urges readers to notice how the erosion of rights does not take place all at once, and to hold moderates Rockefeller accountable for their crucial role. Shifting sovereignties, a nuanced and practical account of sovereignty as a dynamic rather than static phenomena, written by Marge Mitchell Mulligan, published in Berlin by Dr. D. Geiter Oldenburg. Sovereignty is a foundational concept for the project of the nation state and for the discipline of IR. In this book, Marge Mehash and Michael Mulligan move beyond existing debates that seek to fix the concept's universal application towards an understanding of sovereignty as a fragmented, layered, and contested with a traditional flavor. The book reveals sovereignty's plurality in diverse manifestation, multiple conceptions that can be found in ancient China, the Italian city-states, and from the Peace of Westphalia to post-Cold War global governance, a worthwhile and stimulating exploration of sovereignty regimes, their context, processes, and power. Erased. Written by Patricia Owens, published in Princeton, New York by Princeton University Press. For fans of Patricia Owens' previous collaborations, Women's International Thought, A New History, Women's International Thought Towards a New Canon, Erased. A history of international thought without men is a highly anticipated and entirely complementary book. In this new book, Owens honors the contributions of 18 women to bury and any narratives of IR as a story of white men, while spotlighting their academic merits, especially on the debate around empire and race in IR. Owens and also inquires about these women's careers and lives. Where were they able to secure writing opportunities which powerful men played role in their personal and professional lives? In this unique intellectual history covers it all. Read the full review. Post-Soviet graffiti. Free speech in authoritarian states. There is nothing like an exciting debut monograph in this curious, impressive, and rigorous book. Alexis Lerner seeks to understand how marginalized actors resort to graffiti as a form of resistance and to circumvent censorship, drawing on more than a decade of ethnographic fieldwork and field reviews across diverse regime types. From a post-Soviet world, Lerner observes that placement and geographical context matters for the mobilizing and inspiring uh, potential of graffiti, foregrounding the political nature of graffiti. Lerner's account includes not only the opposing actors, artists, but also the Western actors and that attempted to sponsor the legitimate graffiti in the post-Soviet space, as well as how targeted states sought to co-opted the once unfeatured world order, written by Amitav Acharya, published in New York by Basic Books. In his latest book, Amitav Acharya invites readers on a monumental journey into the past to provide an alternative account of world order, taking stock of the contribution and shared ownership of a wide range of civilizations. Given the book's wide scope, it is worthy focus of a review forum in the latest issue of International Affairs. In the forum, four experts discuss and direct dissect Acharya's argument about the evolution of the world order, the role of non-Western agency, and the limitation of existing accounts of historical Eurocentric divisionism. The forum also features Acharya's response to the questions raised by Rosemary Ford, John H. Upson, and others. Explore the review forum and judge the book for yourself. The Ocean 10th, The Ocean on Fire, written by Anais Marir, published in Durham, New NC by Duke University Press. The Ocean on Fire brings the discussion of nuclear issues to the epistemological realm while reading a much needed human dimension to the conversation. And as was Marer once and our new reviewer puts it, the challenges for each which over industrialized countries seek to prepare and already the lived reality of Pacific peoples other painstakingly demonstrates how environmental degradation and the impacts of nuclear testing have long been felt in Oceania and how its Pacific communities have been largely sidelined as the Pacific has been conceived as existing outside of history. In bringing back the contributions of Pacific epistemologies, Maurer paves the way for alternative understandings of how we relate to the environment in light of nuclear and climate-related crisis. Read the full review here. These are the books. Subscribe. I am not a avid book reader. I used to be a avid book reader, but I stopped reading books long time back. Long time back. Thank you. Thank you so much.